Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to another trading session. Yeah, it's Wednesday. It's the pre-NFP week. It's the Wednesday pre-NFP. So keep that in mind. I hope you're doing well. I hope you guys did well yesterday. And talking about yesterday, yeah, we did a big dive to the downside. It started way back in the London session. It then continued right pre New York AM, and yeah, we made some kind of a new low here on New York AM. And if you go back to my stream, I identified some sell short here, some sell setup here, which dived a little bit into a new low. And yeah, I was talking about it and telling you that if you make a new low, just keep in mind that you have to take profits, because the most likely thing is that we would make some kind of a retrace to the upside in between New York PM session and the lunch hour. Yeah, and it happened quite as I imagined and projected, but honestly, it kind of surprised me because I was not expecting a reaction that bullish here. If you have listened to and if you've watched my yesterday stream, yeah, I was kind of bearish for September, but since we reacted that well since yesterday's drop, yeah, I have to probably I don't know, think twice about my long-term bias, because if you go into the daily chart, it's a bit messy here, but don't worry about it. If you go into the daily chart, you can see that 25% of the wick of the daily wick is done here on ES. On the 4 hour, yeah, it's we still have a bearish. I mean, we still have a bearish structure. We still have a bearish structure. We are trying to respect this bearish fair value gap, but I don't know at this point. These relative equal highs are kind of juicy here, so we might end up going higher, eventually targeting these London highs, these relative equal highs, and consequentially the previous day high, which I think it might be a good target for today's price action. But keep in mind that we are indeed in the NFP week, and NFP is right away in 2 days. So keep that in mind. We might have some choppy action here, eventually coming a bit lower, zigzagging here a bit, and eventually on Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. On Friday, we will probably reach for some kind of important liquidity point. In my opinion, these relative equal highs are too suspicious for me. Yesterday we had the sell side liquidity here down below, but since NQ targeted and ES felt kind of short of it, yeah, it forms some kind of a SMT. So this is an SMT on the higher time frames. And if we respect this SMT, and if we somehow start to make some kind of a reversal here, yeah, these relative equal highs are kind of in danger for the next couple of sessions. But let's see. Here down below we have an walk. In my it can eventually support price to the upside. we are trading inside an hourly bearish fair value gap as well. So it's kind of a tricky spot here just to do something. We need to wait a little bit more for what's going to happen in this New York AM session. Keep in mind that we have 10 a.m. News as well, so it's a high impact news driver. So the most logical thing here is to wait for it to deliver and eventually take some action after it. So keep that in mind as well. If we look into the pre-market action, we can see that price is accumulating since 8:30. So this is just an accumulation. So these highs are quite relative equal. These lows are, so these highs as well. And now we need some kind of a manipulation. It can manipulate price to the upside, or eventually it can manipulate price to the downside. And then this is usually the AMD that we look for. So accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution. But right now, I will just wait. Let's see, 9:30 open. It happened 3 minutes ago. So let me mark the 9:30 open here. So this is 9:30 open. And let's see if we will have some kind of a manipulation to the upside. We might end up manipulating to the upside and then reaching for London lows. If you look into NQ did not take Asia lows. So Asia lows and London lows are quite relative equal. So we might end up ending with a London framework where London lows are our drawn liquidity. London highs are already taken. But yeah, we need to see price develop a little bit more just to take some action. Looking into NQ right now, it's developing a ASMT here as well with ES. So yeah, let's just see where price will drive us. If it will go, I have to say that my bias is not that clear for today's action, because we are somehow in the middle of a range, and whenever we are in the middle of the range, it's kind of hard to frame something. And since it's Wednesday, and next Friday it will be NFP, it can be somehow hard to frame anything here. But let's see. So far, price came to the upside. It took 826 high. So this is the pre-market high. I would like to see those being attacked as well. These relative equal highs here. Let's just see if price has the strength to go to the upside here and take these relative equal highs. So yeah. Yeah, price is kind of choppy, as you can see here. NQ a bit clearer. It's trying to drive price a little bit lower, as you can see. Meanwhile, ES kind of resisted here, closing above 830. price action on NQ has been a bit clearer than ES, honestly. I think that ES is stalling a bit. It's kind of waiting for NQ because on the high time frames, NQ is a bit behind on its trajectory to the upside. So I believe ES is just making some time to NQ catch up. But NQ is right now taking a dive to the downside. On the 15-minute time frame, you can see that it's working those inefficiencies. These ones right here. Let's just see. Meanwhile, ES is still mumbling around here in between 8:30 open and 9:30 open. So there's not much going on ES. We are still somehow accumulating here. So as I was telling you, it might be a choppy day since we are today is the head of NFP. So tomorrow we will have some red folder news as well. Let me just check here. You can see here that we will have unemployment change, initial job claims. Then we will have PMI, and eventually the big news driver on Friday as NFP. So the market is it can generate some liquidity right before these news driver and do nothing, just generating liquidity, just enticing traders to participate in something that seems that will happen, but in the end, nothing happens. Yeah, it seems like NQ just manipulated to the downside. Now I would like to see if this is really a manipulation or not, or if we will eventually head south, head to the downside, because it's way clearer that NQ took out some highs right before the 9:30 open. ES did not. So eventually the manipulation could have happened right before the open. And now we will eventually see if this is a manipulation on ES or not. So this was the range pre-open. This one right here. And if this is a manipulation, this is not a big manipulation. Whenever I refer to manipulation, I would like to see big candles enticing players to go along them, and then suddenly it takes some form of liquidity, and then it reverses quickly as well. So, and then it goes right on the opposite direction. So this is not the type of manipulation that I would like to see for a London framework. I would like to see something more violent as manipulation, something that will create some FOMO into those who are willing to participate. Yeah, but uh, NQ seems like it will head south, um, probably targeting uh, London lows and Asia lows as well. But right now, yes, is a mess. It's doing nothing. Still zigzagging here. We are just barcoding for now here on ES. It seems like it wants to get out of this range. Notice how ES just used the analog as some form of support. It tried to respect the I believe that's the 1 hour fair value gap here. And notice how it kind of enticed the exit, but it never came out of it. I believe ES is just waiting for 10 a.m. news here. We are 15 minutes ahead of the 10 minutes of the 10 a.m. News driver. So yeah, nice reaction here on ES. Some form of displacement. This might be the manipulation that we were talking about, but yeah, let's see. As you can see here, 8:30 open is consequently being rejected. And now let's see if 9:30 will have the same treatment and will be rejected as well. So far, we have the first presented fair value gap being inverted here. So here we are. Yeah, but so far, ugly price action. just back and forth, nothing to work with. Yeah, 930 being rejected once again here. Price now trying to displace a little bit. It took the pre-market lows. So just let me check the regular trading hours here as well. Let me just measure the gap here. So this is it. Opening range gap quarters. Yeah, we did exactly 50% of the opening range on ES. And prices reacting quite well. But so far not liking this price action. As you can see here, we are having higher highs, lower lows. So this is kind of a megaphone here, and I don't like to participate on megaphone patterns. So I will give it some more time, probably wait for 10 a.m. news. We are already inside a macro as well. So a 950 macro. Yeah. So nice reaction from 50% of the opening range gap. So this might be the manipulation that we were looking for. So I was telling you that this could not be some form of manipulation here. So this is the accumulation. This candle, this single candle can be the manipulation, because I believe a lot of people try to engage in shorts here and are now being somehow punished here. So yeah, we might end up going to the upside, since we still have these relative equal highs here, this trend line liquidity. And honestly, we have this trend line liquidity as well. So a lot of stops were placed above these highs here. So I don't know. I don't think we can trust price action by now. We still need some more. We still need some more action just to have some trustable price action here. First presented fair value gap being respected here and displacing once again to the downside. So it's kind of hard, this price action. I believe this is the typical pre-NFP price action here. Still waiting for something more trustable to happen. Honestly, not feeling like I can trust this price action, because on ES we are still barcoding here. Things might be more prone on NQ. If you look into NQ, it kind of formed a breaker, and we might end up with a side reaction here on NQ. I can see that happen, but honestly, ES is trying to push price to the downside here, so things are not in line in between them. Yeah, see, bearish fair value gap being respected here, and this might be the trigger to start some shorts. The breaker is failing on NQ as well. Yeah, so far we have a 30 open rejection, rejection of the first presented fair value gap as well, rejection at 9:30 open, and price exiting a 1 hour bearish fair value gap and entering a an NWOG. So yeah, I guess we will have London framework as our draw, but price action is not that clean today. NQ failed a new low. So we have some form of an SMT in between them. But yeah, ES is moving south here. Let me just check the 2 minute here. The 3 minutes. Hmm. Yeah, and Q is holding here, and ES is wicking to the downside here as well. These eyes are kind of suspicious for me as well. So nothing that I would like to be in for now. We are inside a macro, so the macro is trying to offer us. It seems like a sell, but let's see. Let's see what will happen here at 10 a.m. We are 1 minute away from it, so there's no need to rush. But at this point, I'm really inclined for London lows to serve as a drawn liquidity here, probably here. So 10 a.m. news, it wicked to the upside, so wicked right at the order block. Yeah, but what's holding me here is the fact that in Q it's pushing to the upside. That's what's holding me right now. We are not see not a touch here on this fair value gap. Yeah, I'm glad I did not take anything before or prior to the news driver, because otherwise any type of position would have been stopped out. It's a 10 handle wick, 10 handle candle, so it seems like macro will indeed offer us something, but not a draw that we were expecting, but probably a inversion type of setup that will trigger these stop losses here, probably. I don't know. Let's give it some more time, because right now we have a thick market. It's hard to frame anything. Yeah, so far this bearish fair value gap is kind of holding, but NQ it's pushing price to the upside, honestly, or at least trying to. At this point, even if NQ pushes ES to the upside, I would not engage in anything here. I need to see, because these three things here, 8:30 open, 9:30 open, and the first presented fair value gap can act as a resistance. So at this point, I would like to see price come above, and I probably would only take something above these levels and not below them. Let me take a look once again to, yeah. Let me just take a look where, oops. Yeah, we have a lot of buy side liquidity here on the regular trading hours. But so far, kind of a messy job. ES is ES, not ES. NQ is definitely more. It's definitely cleaner than ES. Seems like ES don't wants doesn't want to push aggressively to the upside. But at the same time, I don't like how NQ just left all those relative equal lows uh, down below. See, yeah, I was talking about 9:30 and 8:30 and the first presented fair value gap act, acting as resistance to price, and see what's happening. They are indeed um, acting as a resistance for now. So still waiting, waiting for something to happen. And honestly, um, expect, the expectations are kind of low, because I was expecting price action like this. We are in the middle of the week, in the middle of NFP week. So the the probabilities of we having hard price action are quite high. It doesn't mean that price will always behave like this. There are some days that even on NFP weeks, um, price action is good and it's tradable, and you can have a clean read as soon as the market opens. But yes, the probability usually is it's kind of low. So the probability for us to have hard price action on today's price action was kind of high. That's why my expectations were kind of low for what we could eventually do. So we are back inside the range. I believe that the manipulation on ES is done here. So I can eventually assume that the manipulation was this one right here. And now we will have distribution to the upside. So now we want to see price come above the accumulation zone just to make sure that we will have a clean run. Otherwise, if price just does the manipulation, comes back inside the range, we might end up with something like this, and yeah, that's not good. What I usually like to see is a accumulation, a strong manipulation, come back inside the range, and then do something like this. So it was very important for today's price action to wait for the manipulation. I told you in the first minutes of the stream that I like to see a strong manipulation and not these types of wicks above the accumulation zone. Usually the manipulation is a fast and strong movement that will put some second thoughts on our beliefs. So yeah, it kind of behaved like that here. But I don't want to see price coming back inside the range and then lose its momentum. That's not ideal, because at some point it can do another manipulation, or eventually this is not a manipulation and we go to the downside, because London lows here, London lows are quite juicy for me. I don't know. I still have to wait here. Yeah, sometimes price actions just behaves like this, and whenever it behaves like this, yeah, we might end up taking nothing, just observing and just taking annotations and see if our bias and our projection was right. Um, this is somehow what I expect price to do, because, as I told you, we have this trend line of liquidity. We have another trend line liquidity here right above us here as well. And somehow it should be logical for price to reach for it. But on the other hand, we still have London lows here as well. It's some form of a relative equal low here that I would like to see finished as well. So at this point, it's hard to frame anything. Seems like we are drawing some type of a AMD, so accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. Yeah, but I don't feel like this distribution is working, since price stopped right at 9:30 open. I mean, first presented fair value gap. That's why I told you guys that I would not like to engage with price below these levels on longs. And yeah, see what's happening. That's why I did not engage with it. Otherwise, I would have been stopped out. I needed to see price come above the first presented fair value gap, 8:30 open and 9:30 open, and not acting like it's resisting here on these levels. So nice displacement to the downside here. First presented fair value gap acting as a wall here. but at the same time, we are leaving some liquidity behind here, just like we did here as well. And in Q, remember when I told you that those relative equal lows were kind of suspicious? Yeah. NQ is targeting them right now. So I guess the work is done here, and we will probably head south. But so far, this is a high resistance. Uh, this is a high resistance run where price is just, yeah, doing this. If it continues like this, I don't want to engage in nothing that's high resistance. I would like to see clean moves. We might end up having a clean move right now. So another bearish fair value gap here. Ten a.m. macro ended as well. So this is a displacement after 10 a.m. macro. Let's see if price really comes and goes above the midpoint of this bearish fair value gap. Yeah, then we are probably facing a no market, which means that um, a no market is a market that may end up on your draw, but the way it will do, it will punish you somehow. It may end up here, down below, or wherever you are projecting your drawn liquidity. But the way it will reach it, it will be a messy way. Was this another manipulation to the downside? Let's see. So we reached for 50% of that fair value gap. Let's see if it holds and it starts to deliver to the downside, or if it will slowly climb this fair value gap and end up inside the range once again. If you look into NQ, yeah, it's not, it's right at the midpoint right now. So let's give it some more minutes. See, another manipulation, guys. This is a thick market. See, I can see a lot of people trying to sell this. A lot of people, and being punished. Hmm. Yeah, I can see a lot of people being punished by this. So at this point, the distribution. What am I doing? Yeah, this is a inversion type of fair value gap. This got inverted as well, but I will take this off, and we are back inside the range, as you can see. So all of this is accumulation. This might be the manipulation that we were talking about, and now seems like price has a bit more strength to go, and seems like it will now distribute to the upside. But I would like to see price come above 8:30 open and 9:30 open here. It went above 9:30 open without any problem, but we are inside the range once again. See, it's the accumulation range, the manipulation leg to the downside, and we are back inside the range. But now I don't want to price be in here for more than, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. I want it to be a clean run to the upside, and not losing any time here. But once again, first presented fair value gap acting once again as a resistance right now. So I will mark the 1050 to 1110, 1050 to 1110 macro. Push it a little bit above. So at this point, if you would like to engage in something, you will need to have a large stop loss, which will eventually ruin your risk to reward. But I wouldn't go I wouldn't go with something smaller than this eventually. And I would probably wait for price to come once again inside this inefficiency here. Damn. Yeah. So I'll go stretch it a little bit more to my right. So at this point, what I'm expecting is something like this. And if this doesn't work, yeah, it's a no-no market. Yeah, it seems like NQ wants to push price a little bit higher. There we go. Well, on the higher time frames, if you look into the 15 minute, the 15 minute is quite a mess here. It's not that easy to read, honestly. But so far, it's working. Price is above first presented fair value gap. It's above 830 open, above 930 open, and it's working its way to the upside. So I will take this off here. It left this gap open, but let's see if we will have another retrace here. At the same time, I would not like to see price retrace a lot inside the range once again. It's a mixed feeling here. Let me just project price a little bit here just to see where we are and where we can go. Implied fib. So yeah, the first stop is at these relative equal highs that we were talking about in the first minutes of the stream. Then the next stop and the biggest one should be at -2 standard deviation, and -2.5 standard deviation would be these relative equal highs here. Yeah, see, the market is kind of thick here. It rejected completely. It was kind of numb here above 830 and above the first presented fair value gap and displaced right away to the downside. So at this point, if I was taking this trade, I would be in. Yeah, but honestly, that's the mixed feeling because we came back inside the range, and once inside the range, anything can happen, just like you're seeing here. That's why I was telling you guys that this is a mixed feeling because at some point you would like to see a retest, but not that deep of a retest here inside the range. Yeah, once again, higher highs, lower lows. Not the best environment to trade, but so far a nice reaction here. Very nice reaction. But will price come back inside the range or will it now progress? Because we are already 1 hour inside since the opening bell and we are still ranging. So it seems like we are heading towards our targets here. It would be a nice entry here, honestly. But I had a mixed feeling that was telling me, okay, it might be not a good idea to enter here because we were heading back inside the range. But at this point, if I were inside a trade, I would put my stop at break even probably, and yeah, and just let it run if it wants to run. we have to keep in mind that we are as well inside a bearish 1 hour fair value gap. So that's why price is acting this way. It's trying to work it. It's trying to get rid of it. Yeah. Price retesting once again. 8:30 open. If I clean this a little bit here, you can see as well that there is a breaker that is being respected. It's a big breaker. It's this candle here. It is acting as a breaker, a bullish one. And price went. This is an algorithmic signature on price, where price came down, retested the breaker all the way down to its limits, and right away it came to the upside. So this is the breaker, and here you have the fair value gap, here. So it's kind of a unicorn setup, but usually a unicorn setup has a strong delivery to its direction, and as we can see, it's not delivering that strongly. Yeah, at this point, I would be with a 1 hour. At this point, probably it's 1 hour is not enough to take profits. But since we are touching some relative equal highs here, I probably would have need to take some sort of partials here. yeah, see, there is a minimum of follow through. It was a nice reaction here, as soon as we entered the breaker, it was a hard entry, an aggressive entry inside a breaker. But as soon as we touched the bottom of it, price reacted quite well. But now, since we are inside and right below the midpoint of this fair value gap here, price kind of stopped. Yeah, it seems like it's anticipating another retrace down. So this might end up a high resistance move to the upside. Let me take a look on the 1 hour, on the 1 minute NQ. Yeah, it has the breaker here as well. Was almost the same as ES. And now we are moving once again. So this would have been a relatively good trade. But conditions were kind of hard to engage with it. It was not that clean. And that's why I did not engage with it. This was somehow hard to read, but we did manage to read it quite well. Yeah, at this point, I can eventually consider these relative equal highs as um, the ultimate target. But as soon as price touches these highs, um, yeah, that here is a must take partial or take profits area, because at this point, I don't know if price will return inside this 1 hour fair value gap and try to work it a bit more. And Q seems like way better. It's doing a way better job than ES. yeah, this would have been a good trade with a large stop loss. Honestly, at this point, I would only be about 2R. But yeah, at this point, some profits would have been taken and stop at break even and leaving a runner for probably for these relative equal highs here. So looking at NQ, NQ already took, let me just check if NQ already took previous day's high. If NQ already took, yeah, it already took previous day's high. Just let me check once again. Did it? Yes, it did. Yeah. So at this point, the trade, the majority of the trade should be out of the equation. Let me just project once again, just to see once again where price is heading to. Yeah. We are approaching once again macro time 1050. So at this point, price will probably push a little bit higher. We can see that -2 standard deviation, minus 2.5 standard deviation stands for these relative equal highs. So we might push price to those levels. Yeah, price pushing a little bit higher here. And it was kind of a shame that I did not take this entry. I was right with the read on price, but yeah, since price was behaving like this, I was kind of not trusting it the way it should be trusted. So the first macro offered as the reversal on the manipulation, and right now we are entering another macro. So this is a macro to macro move. It started right at the manipulation here. It went for 50% of the NWOG, as you can see here, to the tick. So this is somehow a algorithmic signature on price. And yeah, and then it displays to the upside. And yeah, I was a bit skeptical when price just came here aggressively to the downside. But yeah, it was just manipulating once again. So right now I don't think that's anything that we can do. Entering price here would be some form of a chase. So I don't think I will chase price. On the other hand, we are inside 1050, oops, the 1050 macro. So 1050 macros, that is the time of the silver bullet that ICT talks about, which price re- retraces into a fair value gap and then it continues its direction. Yeah, price so far respecting bullish PD arrays. But yeah, as I told you, I don't think I will engage with anything right now. Should have engaged down here and not up here after taking the first stages of liquidity that we were projecting as draw. See, price respected the 1 hour bearish fair value gap. Let me just check how many handles did price move. 15. It wasn't that much, honestly. Kind of watching this, if this will end up as a reversal back into the range, or if it will end up as a continuation here. Let me just check the regular trading hours. Yeah, we are far away from buy side liquidity, so I don't think selling here makes a lot of sense. I can see this being a continuation to the upside. Yeah, see, this is somehow a continuation to the upside. Feel bad for those who are trying to sell here. I think it's way too soon to sell here. I think ES is just making a pit stop here. It's -1 standard deviation, so it can eventually retrace a little bit lower, but the main idea is to target these relative equal highs here on ES, which has some confluence with -2.5 standard deviation here as well. See, price is slowly grinding up and continuing its way to the upside. So I don't think I think it's way too early to sell into something that it's just in the midpoint of the ultimate target. Yeah, it's taking some time here to get out of the first of the 1 hour bearish fair value gap, but sooner or later it will. I still believe the main target is right here on the upside. Yeah, but NQ is respecting its bearish fair value gap for now. Curious to see if we will have some sort of um, we will have some sort of retrace or if we will continue to the upside. Well, usually the macro hour offers usually offers a retrace or an inversion or just a continuation on price. So I believe this is just a continuation on price. We can eventually come a little bit lower, but I don't think it will be uh, a move lower that is willing to give us something good. You just NQ is just enticing some shorts. I can see a lot of people trying to short as well. But I believe it won't work. Yeah, yes, is still on a pit stop here. Not making much. And Q, it's like teasing those shorts. But I don't like when one is teasing and the other one is like this. See? Yeah. Seems like yes, we'll move a little bit higher. NQ is trying to slow down ES a little bit. Yeah, but it will be a continuation type of macro. Yeah, I said before that I would not take it long there because I feel like I was chasing price. I would be chasing price here. So it's not part of the plan. But taking shorts that early, I don't think it makes sense as well. Of course, we are in a premium right now, but yeah, the model just didn't develop here for some type of shorts. I've needed to see something like displacement to the downside and a small retrace once again, and it didn't develop. So the only thing that really developed here was this one, which is a unicorn model. This model right here. This one clearly developed, not that clearly, um, because I was not trusting price. The the opening was quite messy, and it made me stay on the sideline because of the messiness that price was presenting. Otherwise, the model was here totally. But at the same time, I feel that like I didn't miss that much. Was it 12 handle move? It's now 11 o'clock in the morning, and it didn't made what the run that I was like that I would like to see, honestly. So now ES trying to tease some shorts here, and Q trying to go lower now. Yeah, we are approaching the 2 hour mark on the live stream. It's 11:10 in the morning or in New York, so I believe most of the traders are taking a break, getting their coffee, that pre-lunch break. So I believe the main action was just this leg here, uh, small leg on ES. So nothing happened that I would say, oh damn, I missed this great opportunity. It was an opportunity, but not that great. So I'm not that I am not that sad, I would say, for not participating in the market because first minutes of it was challenging. Well, at this point, before we finish the stream, at this point we have an S&T here in between ES and Q, which might be a sign that we go a little bit south before heading north once again. Uh, but yeah, there's no model right now. It's just accumulating. Um, and Q is it's doing the same. It spiked a little bit below, but and yeah, usually the 11-hour mark is the time for retraces. So if we did not manage to go a little bit further north here on ES, yeah, I believe now that post 11 we should eventually break down a little bit and do some sort of a retrace to the downside. Yeah, it's starting right away. See, yeah, it's just the retrace is just starting. So right before ending the stream. Let's just see if this is just a manipulation or a continuation higher, or if it's just in fact a retrace to the downside. Yeah. So far, price inverted this fair value gap, which was the last fair value gap of the upper leg. So the only thing that I don't like here is the fact that we are outside of New York AM session. So we are at post 11. But the model is it's somehow here. We have the breaker here, this big candle. I believe that's, yeah, this is the breaker. We have the breaker here. The only thing that's missing is the fair value gap for the unicorn model. That's the only thing that's missing. And time. I would say time. It's important as well. But yeah, there we go. Doing some sort of a retrace to the downside here. Yeah, no fair value gap here. Just to validate our bearishness. It might be a slow grind to the downside. Let me just check the 2 minute here. Yeah, on the 2 minute, this candle, it touched the breaker and it went down. But on the 3 minute, we still have some room for a touch on this fair value gap here. Let's just see if it runs a bit. Yeah, if it would be easier if we had some sort of a fair value gap here, right, but beneath the breaker or next to it. The only one that we have is this inverted one. I would like to see a fresh bearish one. Um, that way we would have something like this and back to the first presented fair value gap. Let me just check where we are inside the range. So yeah, we are ticks away from equilibrium, so it's not what we want. We want to be in a deep premium. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, there we go. Another candle to the downside. But yeah, guys, I think that's it. I won't be here for much time. Um, yeah, price action was not that good today. We just had a leg to the upside, and that was it. Nothing. We didn't miss that much of an action. It was kind of hard to position ourselves in the market, especially in the first minutes. Uh, but yeah, I could have entered the trade here right when it retraced back to my entry. I didn't do it. I didn't do it because I was not trusting price with some trust issues because what I was seeing here. And now, yeah, the only thing that I needed was a fair value gap, and it didn't offer the fair value gap that I was looking for. So nice drop here as well, but yeah, I feel like I didn't miss that much, honestly. So yeah, guys, thank you for being here. It's been 2 hours already. I don't want to stretch these live streams or much more than that. Um, tomorrow it will be Thursday tomorrow, so we will have some red folder news as well. Let me just check when they will happen. So it will be right in the morning, and then yeah, it will be right at 9 a.m. I think. Okay, great. So and it will be pre NFP day as well. So keep that in mind. Guys, stay safe. Thank you very much for being there. It was a pleasure. It was a nice tape reading session, honestly. Um, I didn't feel like I missed much, so I hope you did well as well. And yeah, see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you very much once again, and have a nice day. Thank you.